All right.
Inner guidance, inner leadership. I'm very happy to talk to you, Max, today. Max is a Wim Hof instructor like me. Max is a movement practitioner in the school of Ido Portal. And Max has a very interesting history in his life journey. He has many different explorations he did in the army, in a choir, in a professional choir for a while as a child, then later the army, then world traveling, meeting Laird Hamilton, learning from him, finding his way to Wim Hof, now Ido Portal. And now he has a retreat center in Austria and gives retreats in the Wim Hof method and guides practitioner of movement and life, I would say, in their practice. So this is what I just came up, Max, with freestyle. Is there something that I did not point out correctly, or you want to add?
Yeah. No, I think you said enough. You said enough, and it doesn't really matter, to be honest. It doesn't really. Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
So nobody should. I mean, you can have a little impression, but you actually should listen maybe to someone if you really want to know what one is doing or not.
Exactly. Yeah, the titles are the titles.
Sure.
And it's just like a framework, and now we fill it with some content.
Yeah, that's well put.
I'm so curious to talk to you about this inner guidance, because it seems to me that your inner guidance has led you to different things in your life, and sometimes it seemed a little bit radical. You even were for a while investment banker, right?
That's true. Yes.
Yes.
So I was studying finance, and I was working in London and in Frankfurt in big banks. And I was on my way, or it was also my dream being an investment banker. So I was on the path being an investment banker, but yes, I was interrupted.
Okay, and let's dive right into it. Like, can you talk about this inner guidance systems that led you to these different kind of extreme areas of life?
Yes. Yeah, a lot of it, to be honest, wasn't inner guidance, I guess.
Okay.
But first of all, I want to say that I think it's great. It's great that you're doing a show about inner guidance. It's such an important topic, because we always look for guidance and we always look for the path, how to do something. But in the end, we are all going our own path. We only have our own view to anything. We are the starting point of kind of everything. So I think inner guidance is, I don't know, it's a topic that got so important in the past, especially months, but also years. It's a long process, and I understand it now, I think, a little bit better, what it really means, and what comes with it, how many layers upon layers are inside our head and are not really supportive of all what we really feel, because the concepts and the stories and the culture which we grow up, it has a big impact on how we think, and it has a big impact on how we not really feel, and what we feel is very often suppressed or not adequate in the cultural context, how the way we should live our lives, and so on and so on. And I think the older we get, it starts kind of with school. We are put into situations maybe we don't really feel comfortable, but we kind of have to do it because it's obligatory, and our parents, they push us inside of it. And if you are not, I mean, it's such a special way of treating children, and if you don't fit into the system, you kind of screwed. There is no other option, to be honest. So we are so I think we are really traumatized. So it's really hard to find the inner guidance, but I think the path is worth it.
It's a super interesting aspect of the inner guidance, the schooling system, and I want to touch on it a little bit. It seems to me that what schooling tries to do is to shape and discipline kids. So they say, like, you have to be a certain way in order to be grown up, because you're just a mess, you're a chaos, and you have to suppress your impulses and your needs and follow the guidelines in order that you can function in our society, and that everything in the machine is running smoothly. And it's interesting to me because there's something to it. I mean, what you are doing, you are following Ido Portal right now, and you follow his guidance and allow him and his practices to shape you. Correct me if I'm wrong. The difference I see is that the child is not choosing it at all. You are choosing it.
True. And right, that I mean that's a big point. You know, if you don't get to choose, very often, this is why I call it trauma.
Mm-hmm.
It's forced. It's really forced up on you. And in this young age, and when you're older, I mean, of course we get inspired by people, but I think we can think about it from from whom are we inspired, and from whom practices we want to follow. And there are certain practices that are very, I don't know, like very strict, and there are certain practices that are very, very open. And for example, the movement concept is a very, very open one. And it's not like that Ido tells me what to do. Like I'm not even in contact with Ido. I'm in contact with one of his close students.
Mm-hmm.
So and of course there are the practice is the practice is not only from Ido, it's from Ido and the whole team, and it's always developing, and there are so many subjects to touch on, and you choose which subject and so on, and it's not and it's only it's only one part of my practice. It's not like it's not like that it's all what I'm doing. So, and you are very free also in what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So but of course, to a certain degree, I mean, you also have to trust people, but now we can really think about it, like, whom do we want to trust?
Exactly. And this is already this thing with this inner guidance, I think, because you said, like, within the practice of you can choose different paths, right? And then you say, like, I want to be shaped in this way. And then I follow I trust the person who is already in this shape, or like who can do certain things with the body. Okay, he practiced that, and so he knows what I can practice in order to be more like this person. And I don't know about you, but like for me, trying the Wim Hof method was very much connected to the way Wim Hof expresses himself and what kind of energy he radiates. And I find it fascinating that the energy or the way Wim Hof speaks, for me, is similar to the way Ido Portal speaks. Even they are very different, but what they emanate, what they radiate, it's somehow different. You see, it's not bullshit. It's like it's coming from a good place.
I couldn't agree more. Like, they are so different, and so different approaches. The methods are, you cannot even compare it, but still they're honest people. They're just honest. honest about what they know or what they don't know, and what knowing even means, and so on. They're, and this is what they radiate. They radiate honesty. And yeah, I think honesty has a lot to do also with truth.
It's so funny. You know what I wanted to ask you today? And now you gave me already the hint. I wanted to ask
Well,
you because um, I feel like the movement practice, it incorporates a lot of stuff, you know?
yes, it's
Because,
not what it seems, honestly. Like, you see Ido Portal moving or some of his people, but I cannot say for certain. I can say it for me, but I kind of also know it for Ido. It's not what it's on. It's not what it's on the outside. It's not about
okay.
It's not about the
Sorry,
movement or.
yeah, I just thought maybe it's cool for people who never heard about movement, like as a term, and Ido Portal. Like, what is this about?
Yeah, it's very hard to say, because it is what it is for you and what you make out of it. But I can speak for me. I can only speak for me what my movement practice is about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about speaking like what I took from Ido, and what the movement practice means to me. And it just means to practice, basically for the sake of practicing. And it's, I don't know, it's getting rid of patterns, getting rid of thought structures, and learning new stuff. And I know, for example, now I had this injury I still have it on the wrist, and I was practicing with my wrist every day for many hours for the past 1.5 years. So now I couldn't do anything with the wrist. And of course, my first thoughts were, no, what's with my handstand practice and with the acrobatics and blah, 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 blah. But, at the end, it was the best thing, because I noticed again, in which like what I'm attached to, So it showed me one more time, like what my movement practice is not about. So because the movements can be very attractive. A lot of people, they post a lot of videos and so on, for sharing cool movements. Mm-hmm. But it's really not about the cool movement, at least not for me. But I feel how you can be attached to a cool movement. Yes, this is how you do something for the outside, for looking good or for looking impressive. And the inner guidance is the opposite. The inner guidance tells me, like, get rid of your patterns. Yeah.
So what you just described, if you perform in order to impress other people, to have a cool move or something like this, then you externalize the guidance systems into other people.
Yes.
And into your projections of other people, what they would validate, inside yourself.
Right. Yes.
And then you follow this, but it's in the end it's empty, because it's from the beginning, it's your projection what they would validate. Actually, you don't even know what they find cool or not cool.
True. It's based, it's based on the culture, and the culture today tells you pretty clearly what's cool and what's not cool. It has a lot to do with social media and with success, what we understand about success, mm-hmm. and those things. So yes, we are really drawn into these ways of thinking, and this is what the practice is actually showing me. So this is what I appreciate the most about the practice. So it's not about, I can do a cool move, because the cool move, man, it doesn't give me anything, to be honest. So in the end, of course, you think it does, but it doesn't. I think it doesn't. what's really valuable is what are the lessons behind, those kind of things. It's a little, it's hard for me to express as well.
It reminds me a lot of the classical hero's journey. The hero is called for an adventure, and
can you tell me about it?
Yeah, the hero, it's Joseph Campbell analyzed the classical hero's journey, like from many myths, and it has different sections. And I'm not perfect at putting the specific things, but some aspects are similar. So there's everything is in order. Your place is in order. The hero is at home. There's peace, and then there's some call for adventure. Either there's a problem arising, or there's an evil dragon, and he's threatening the village or whatever. And then the hero has to leave and to solve a big problem. And then, for example, with the classical thing with the dragon, if he slays the dragon, there's maybe some gold or something like this. But in the end, it's about that the hero learns something about himself. And it's actually not about the dragon. It's about the inner growth process. And I remember that Ido Portal said in an interview that he practiced for a long time that he can do a handstand on one hand. And the day he achieved it was the saddest and most depressing day in his life. And I found it very interesting, because it points out something, like you chase something, you think then it's cool, but actually it's not about reaching it.
Yeah, it's also what you hear a lot from very successful sport guys, for example, winning Olympic gold medal. After they win, they fall into a deep depression. I think Michael Phelps, he was talking about it. And yes, it's because like what our mind kind of makes up, our projection or what we imagine is not what it actually is. It seems like it.
Yeah. Connected.
Yes, and but the thing is, I know it, but it's still in me. It's still in me, and I say it with all honesty. Like, I still feel it, that I'm kind of pushed towards doing cool things or whatever. But I think it's getting lesser and lesser. Yes, because just knowing it is not enough. You also have to kind of prove it yourself in the daily life. And now with my injury, I really have to prove it. So it's a good thing, because yes, it's a good realization. Like, and these moments make you realize, so okay, maybe you never gonna do this or that movement, and who really cares? Like, and I know which part in me cares about it. It's the part that thinks you only can do this, and you are a movement teacher or whatever if you are able to do this or that. But yes, I don't. Yes, I kind of notice I don't want to be this kind of a teacher, and it wouldn't be honest. Yes, but it's a part that's in me. But I think it's not something really good.
It seems to me also, now that you speak about it, that the process of discovering the inner guidance, and also it seems to me that it leads, what you're talking about leads in the end to free expression, because you get rid of the idea of performing, but you can express freely without the pressure on yourself, like to validate from the outside, but just what you want to express freely. And but you have to feel pain on this path in order to let go. Like,
yes.
That something
Yeah,
is
yeah.
not working, and then you have some realizations about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. So it's this thing like letting go. You know, today I was writing a text for my homepage. So
Uh-huh.
I had the section about it's still in there, and I read it and I was like, fuck, man, this is not where I'm at right now. So and then this concept letting go came up, and it's something I heard, or everyone who knows Wim knows letting go. But it's such a deep concept. It's such a deep concept, and Wim emphasizes this a lot. He's a lot saying so people cannot letting go, and it's so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard letting go because, as you said, it hurts. It hurts letting go because a part in you dies, but a new part is born. And the thing is, you notice there's that this makes, I think this makes your life better, or this kind of defines your life. And if you start doing this, I think you may notice that you don't have another choice.
What do you think is something you can go let more of?
If I'm really honest, I think my whole life is something I'm attached to. Seeing everything. Sometimes I think about this. I think like, whoa, like the way I perceive the world, maybe this is something I have to let go of. In a very broad term. So there is this neuroscientist, his name is Donald Hoffman, and he said, or he has this theory that what we perceive is not what is actually there. And I thought it maybe has to do with all our attachments. You know? And of course, yeah, when you think about it, it's something that it's hard to talk about. It's even hard to talk about.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of fear involved. A lot of fear. But I think this is also something that Ido Portal said. Fear is a good orientation. And I agree. I agree. It's hard. It's very, very hard. But yeah, I think it's a good orientation.
So do you mean by that like as an orientation, like where to go, what to do?
What to do, yes. I just want to add, like, not like jumping from the bridge. Of course, I have fear from jumping from the bridge. I'm talking about fear, but being like still being smart about it. Like, you're fearful, but there are ways, being fearful with all respect to life. I think this is a good expression.
So you balance the concept out like a good movement practitioner does, I guess. Bring balance to, because otherwise it's too extreme. If you just go with what you're afraid of, it leads to just stupidness.
Right.
Like even Wim Hof, like he's really determined if he wants to go somewhere, but he also, like when he was on the Mount Everest, said like at one point, no, I want to keep my fucking foot. I'm gonna turn around. Like, it's not about being stupid, but
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think it also has to do with the question of intention. Like, what's the intention behind it? What's the real intention behind it? And this is also what Wim Hof talks about a lot. It's the intention, and also we both know Mitsu, the shaman we met.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking a lot about the intention.
It's all
So
about intention. He was saying this all the time.
yes, he was saying it's all about the intention. So it's not about doing like in an objective way, doing the right or wrong thing, but honestly, be honest to yourself. What's the intention behind it? Yes, and I know it, and I still can't follow it, because there are so many patterns I'm attached to, and it's hard to break out. It takes a long time, but I think I'm working on it. I'm trying to work on it. I'm trying to be aware of it. I'm trying to let go of the things that are not useful. I'm basically trying, and I'm failing every day. So yes.
Do you have a vision inside how it would be to be, like in the end when you die, you were speaking about the senses and that you even can let go of the senses. And it's just my guess, but when you die, you have to let go of the senses, and I find it so hard to imagine. Like, fuck, like I really have to go of everything, even of my
Right.
senses. So my
Right.
question would be like, can you imagine, or do you have a vision that you are alive, fully alive, and at the same time not attached to the patterns?
Yes. It sounds like a big contrast, but maybe it's not. Maybe you can only be fully alive when you're not attached. It actually makes a lot of sense as well.
Okay. Can you elaborate a little bit?
Yes. You know, um, maybe when you are free of everything, you're also free of the fear. And I think the fear comes from attachment or from certain imaginations. I don't know. It's a tough question.
It's a tough question. Yeah, if we follow
It's
this.
it's above it's above my pay grade to answer.
Okay, we're just peeking over the horizon.
Yes, no, like honestly, I need to mention this as well. Like I'm a very often I feel also very lost, and
Yeah.
I just try to figure out something, you know, but um, it's a I'm teaching like Wim Hof method workshops and retreats, and also doing like movement teachings, and like also you called it also live teachings because it goes beyond just moving, and this brings me in a tough situation. I think about this quite often. So this like knowing and being honest to yourself about not knowing, you know, being humble also, like being humble. Try to be humble about what you know and what you don't know, and so I try to focus on what I can speak about because I do it. I truly do it. I experienced it, and it's also something that Mitsu was praying for, like humbleness. Like, yeah, I think yes, I try to to remember and to remind myself of being humble, and it's hard.
Yeah, it's an interesting balancing act, like because I feel like what I was asking you about was a little bit because you spoke about the intention and the inner guidance systems. I feel it's good to have an idea in which the direction you are going. For example, I want to be fully free and not attached and full alive, like no fear, no inhibitions. It's also something Wim Hof sometimes says, let go, be free, express freely, no fear. Um, so, but
Yes, yes,
at the same
but
time,
those
if you have like an image, like I want to be there, and this is what I need to be. It's again already the attachment, like, and
right.
yeah,
No, it's. I think it's about. Honestly, it's about. I think that the mind is very, very misleading. Quieten the mind and follow what you feel. Feeling is understanding. When we're saying this also a lot. try to feel, try to feel from the heart. I think this is not something that we just, we just say it. So like, like from the heart or whatever. But I truly believe that our own truth is really the path of listening to the inner voice, to whatever is inside of us that knows, and what's outside of us is like not knowing but wants to know, but maybe there's nothing to know. Yeah,
who knows? Yeah,
just like shutting out the mind. I mean, this is why we go also into the cold water, and why I move, and why I breathe, and so on. I mean, just feeling, trying to do the right thing, doing the right thing, trying to do this what feels right.
Yeah. I find it also interesting, the idea, like, I totally go with you, like just feeling the body and feeling the heart, feeling the path. And at the same time, and it's true, like in order to do that, we have to shut the mind down for like the talking in the brain, and go deeper than those patterns. But I feel also this is also a balancing act, like right now it's like I for example, like I'm way too much in my thinking brain, and I have to balance myself in order to get out of that, and to re-access the body, the we are fucking monkeys, we should feel we should feel what how we feel. It's so simple, like you should feel that. You should not be outside that. You should inhabit the body. And then it's cool, I think, to balance it with the thinking brain, and that they can
Control it.
Control it, yeah. So put it in the right order, maybe. Feel the path, and then find a way also with the help of the mind.
Yes. I'm not sure about it, but I also think that the mind can be helpful. But I'm not sure about it. It might be. So like,
Yeah.
when I think about reflecting, like, you can reflect. I think there must be something the mind must be good for. Yes, I think there must be.
Telling jokes, for example.
Yes. It's. I mean, it's also great. Like this kind of awareness we have. It's a great thing. But man, it's also like, it also hurts. It also hurts when you think too much.
Oh yeah, and
but
also.
I think maybe this is also. This is the process we have to go through. Like to. Wow, now the sun is shining into my, like, really beautiful. The sun is just there's the sunset right in front of me. Nice.
Follow the sun.
Yeah, it's a process we have to go through, and there are always like this hard processes. So you keep going, you go through it, and you learn a little bit more, hopefully.
Yeah, it's what we said. The pain is a part of the process, and it makes so much sense to me. Also, like when I think too much, my brain is getting too hot, and then I go into an ice bath because it's so painful in my head. I have to fucking go into an ice bath, and then cool.
Yes. Yeah, I think we have to try to listen more. I think we know. I think we really know what to do and what not to do. I think it's not so complicated. It's more that like the world makes it a little bit complicated because we think we have all those obligations and so on. But I think if we, or at least my experience. The more I try to let go and do the right thing, the right thing is the thing that I feel inside. Like, it's not about something I have to think about. It's just, okay, I know it's the right thing. This, like, okay, it's the right thing, so just do it. Very often but it's hard to do it, But actually, when I do it, it's actually good when I do it.
And in the end, it's also rewarding, even if it's painful.
Yes. Yeah,
right. I think.
For example, I had an example today. So I was doing some mobility work, and I was listening to something, and then I thought, okay, I mean, I can do the mobility stuff and I can listen to something, but it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right because I know it's like I should concentrate on one thing. So if I listen to something else, it's like some entertainment in the back. Then I thought, like, okay, like some part of me wants this, wants to listen to this or that. But if you do something, you cannot, you like how you really want to listen to it, if you don't sit down and just listen to it. So probably yes. So, but it's also something I felt. So just don't listen to it. It's one of those patterns, like always this information and so on. You need to know this. You need to know that. Same with reading books. I recently felt this, like I had this pressure, like you have to read this and that and that. And said, no, it's fuck it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So read when you have, when you really want to read something. Listen when you really want to listen something. If you move, then move.
I think really, it's a painful realization for me also, because I see it more and more in myself now, that what you're just describing is really, as a child, you are more expressive and you feel, I would like something, I want to play with this person, you approach the person, say, hey, can we play? And then this gets mixed with pain because you get punished by grown-ups, but with being controlled, or being manipulated or just yelled at, and then it's connected with pain. If I do what I like, what I really need, someone's gonna yell at me, and of course this goes deep into the system. As a small child, you're so open and vulnerable, and when a teacher yells at you, and it's common thing still. I worked for 7 years in the schools. What teacher release their anger? I think many teachers are great people, don't get me wrong, but like sometimes it happens, they're just like angry and then releases on a kid, and the kid takes it in, it's like going into the psyche and it's shaping their mind, and like, okay, I should not go my way, I should suppress it, it's dangerous. And that's just the truth, and then you have to work through that again and feel that pain again, and in order to get back to this, hey, what do I actually want?
Yes.
Yeah.
You also brought me to something, because you mentioned the children in the context. And I was thinking, like, if a child would go outside and play, they would never ever put something in the ear to listen to it. Never. They would not do it.
Dude. Hey,
they wouldn't do it.
They're just doing one thing at a time, right?
Yes. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't make. I mean, like, music is something else, because music can stimulate us in a certain way, or so. Of course, you listen to music and then you move or whatever, but like, just like listening to something specific, somebody speaking or a book, and then doing something like this wouldn't make any sense to a child.
Yeah. You know what I really like listening to when I breathe? Wim
What?
Hof. Wim Hof. Yeah, but it's
Why?
because sometimes I catch myself, you know, I read something and then do the breath work next to it. It's exactly what you just said. Like it's actually not the right thing to do. Like focus on the breath, but also I feel like you open yourself up so much, and the programming that happens for a child, you know, because they're so open, you can um, access this openness, I think, also through the breathing. The neuroplasticity gets bigger. And then if someone like Wim Hof, who's like really putting some truths into your brain, like, hey, you're the captain of your soul, I think it's actually shaping you. So this
Yes,
is why
yes.
I like breathing and listening to good stuff.
Yeah, this is a supportive way.
Yeah.
On the same hand, you know, I also tell this to my students, like, do not only do this, also be able to breathe on your own, you know,
Mm, absolutely.
because when you're always attached to like a guided breathing, you know, um, yeah, I think this brings also difficulties with it,
Mm,
and then you will also appreciate it more when you go back to it.
mm.
So yeah,
Balancing it.
yes, balancing it.
Yeah. Nice. Max, I feel we touched super interesting stuff on inner guidance. Is there something on your mind
Yes,
that you want to share about it that's not been spoken about yet?
yes, yes. Actually, we spoke about it before, and I don't want to be one of those persons that feel like I shouldn't talk about this or about that. And I think also in the current situation, you know, we can learn a lot about our inner guidance, you know, because you know, I mean, with the Corona pandemic and so on, there a lot of people tell us what to do, and but at the end, nobody's in our body. It's us, and I think we shouldn't do anything that we like, you know, that we do just out of pressure, because this is the point where we give up our freedom. Our freedom is to take whatever choices are best for us and don't harm other people as well. And if we don't harm other people with our choice, and we don't feel like doing this or that, we shouldn't do it. And I think now this time really shows um, how much you trust yourself. And this is so important because yeah, I kind of feel we you know we have to, inner guidance also means not hiding behind what you feel, and also to express it. And yes, this time really can show us who we are, you know, like which voices are we following, and are we just following something that is being us told, and so on and so on. So I think it's super important, honestly.
Thank you so much, Max. Nice wrap up.
Great, man. Thank you, Micha. Yes, it's yeah, I can only say again, like the inner guidance. It's a great topic. It's a great topic because at the end we all have to go our own path, and it's the thing we have to rely on, our inner guidance, if we want or not.
Thank you so much. It's always so inspiring speaking to you. You know,
Same.
I like it so much to play around with you with the mind and the concepts and the ideas, and then you say something like, "Ah, yeah, it doesn't matter at all, anyways." You know, like I heard once the expression like strong convictions loosely held, and this is what you remind me of again and again. So thank you very much of this.
Yes, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great.
Have a nice ride. Have a nice day and see you next time.
Yes, Micha. Bye bye.
Bye bye.